Good morning and welcome back to Coffee with the Callers. I'm Father Doug Jeffers and I'm here with
Father James.
And we have a returning guest this morning, Shannon Swinson. Good morning, Shannon.
The legendary Shannon Swinson. He's the thing of legend around here.
Of course he is. Yes. So we're here
to drop by for some coffee.
As chance would have it. As chance would have it. So we're here this morning and we're talking about social media this morning, and especially what the role of social media is in the work of the church, in the work of evangelization. So Shannon, you know a thing or two about social media. What do you think about that?
I would say that Shannon Swinson is expert level
level
when it comes to social media.
Nothing less than that.
He knows how the interwebs work. So you may not know this, but Shannon sits on one of our advisory boards for our media ministry. And about the first year I was here, I've been here for 4 years, and about the first year I was here, I called this team together of people that I would consider to be experts, Shannon being one of them. It was about 8 or 9 people, and we started talking about what are we doing at St. Louis to evangelize people beyond just Sunday Mass and beyond just the ministries that we offer. And we started looking at the web page, we started looking at our Facebook page. Krista Villarreal is our director of social media here at the parish. And so she was hired to take care of our webpage and all of our social media channels. And I think we do a pretty darn good job, but we haven't done that on our own. People like Shannon have helped us because, of course, this is a big part of his life. So Shannon, when you're thinking about, Catholic Church, evangelization, maybe the wider scope of the Catholic Church and how we, pass on this truth to the people of the world, what do you think the role of social media should be and really is in a parish like St. Louis?
The first thing I would say, just on a broad scale, is that the church has always been at the forefront of media, as it were, with the printing of the Bible, and also in other areas of certainly being a patron of the arts, architecture, engineering, and sciences. So understand that the church's role has always been to push these things because I think it advances what is great about humanity and joining God in the act of creation in those kinds of ways. At the parish level, that your parishioners are on social media. This is what they're doing. This is how they're already engaging each other, and the church has a vested interest to become part of that conversation, to weave itself in.
Sure. It's interesting that you call it a conversation. You use this term advance. The word advancement means is to advance the mission. What is the mission? Creating disciples. And this is the mission of the church. This is why the church exists, is to create disciples. So our task as people who are interested in social media, Coffee with the Callers, the Being Church podcast, the whole purpose is to advance the mission. What is the mission of St. Louis King of France Catholic Church and School? It's to make disciples, to encounter Christ. And so that's, I think, essential in our social media enterprise, as it were, is to press forward on that mission as disciples making disciples.
Yeah, I think we have an example of that in the church going all the way back to St. Paul. There's a fascinating story in the Acts of the Apostles of the Apostle Paul. He's there in Athens, and he goes out to the Areopagus, and he starts preaching. This is just where the confluence of everything is going on in Athens, where people are going to do their business and their legal business and buy things and talk and exchange ideas. And he starts preaching there in the Areopagus and gets into a conversation with some of the Greek philosophers that are there. And so, even from the beginning, you have this eagerness in the church to take the message of the gospel out to wherever the people are. And the social media, to a large extent, is where they are in our day, kind of our modern Areopagus. And so I think, we have that example going way back. And it's interesting in that story, it says that, some people listened to St. Paul and some people were not interested in what he had to say. And some said, we'd like to hear you again on this at another time. So there was mixed results even from the very beginning. But the church has always had that mission to go out there.
Yeah. So, Shannon, you're part of our media ministry here because you're on our advisory board, and we've worked really hard the last couple of years in establishing this sort of media presence on not only our webpage, but also here in the community. So what would you say would be the best way for the parishioners to participate in that social media that we're doing?
Well, beyond just participating in the channel, I would encourage them, these are these are real people that they're engaging with. They're right here at the parish. They come to church, get to know them. I find it's helpful sometimes. Who is that person? I recognize them, and I might cheat and go jump on the Facebooks and remember, oh, that's that person, and oh, I didn't know they were married. So I use it in that way and find that helpful. But remember, just these are real people, and make a point to interact with them at church.
Yeah, and I think part of our social media program is that we hope that it also helps people to be drawn into our parish community here at St. Louis. You know, it's not just a virtual community; it's a real community right here on Burnett Road on Sunday morning and all throughout the week. So you can connect with people that you might interact with online, and those are real people who are right here that you can interact with in person too. And we hope that our social media helps to increase our sense of community.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to create social media to keep people away from the church.
Sure,
They can say, oh, I could just go on my phone and check out Mass.
Exactly.
No. We want to have this conversation which goes beyond the church so that we can invite people into the church on Sunday and be in real communion with each other.
Another thing that comes to mind for me is that this may feel daunting for a new parish or a parish that maybe hasn't got the resources. I don't think that we can look back over the last couple of years of what we've accomplished, and it began with inviting some people in the parish. You've tapped a few people on the shoulder and invited them to help you in this endeavor. I think that would be step one. But once you do that, I would suggest to some of those parishes to select a channel that they want to get started in. Facebook is a natural one. And just start. Just get into the habit of producing content. Ask people in the parish to help with that endeavor.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is what it's all about. It's not just about St. Louis doing social media. It's about the church in general continuing to do the work of the early church, which is to go out and preach the gospel of Jesus Christ and make disciples. So join us on all of our social media channels. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and to our Facebook and to our Twitter account so that you can get updates and we can tell our story and you can be part of that story. So thanks for joining us on Coffee with the Callers. Mr. Swenson, it's been a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
We wish you a great Friday, and we'll see you on Sunday.